As we're watching a video called 250 IQ Fake, this fake blindfold speedrun fooled everyone. It's 22 minutes by Carl Jobs. We reacted to the first part. Now this is the second part. Let's go. Yo, what up, guys? I want to let you guys know I just recently released Final Fantasy 7 emotes. If you guys want these for you guys self, there's 10 emotes available and a whole package for $10. Scan the QR code for my store or click the link below and enjoy the video.
Wearing a blindfold. This garnered her quite a lot of attention, but when people experienced with the game she was playing, and those experienced in blindfold speedrunning saw her video, they realized immediately it was fake. Unfortunately, Queen Ponzelot's effort of faking a blindfolded run was extremely poor. Not only was she using strategies that are just flat out impossible to use while blind, but the blindfold she was using was so thin and obviously fake, even we, the viewers, could see straight through it. Soon enough, people were making videos calling out her fake run, and Queen Ponzelot was beginning to get quite a lot of negative attention. As it turns out, the public doesn't appreciate liars and people who try to fake gaming accomplishments for clout. After receiving backlash, Queen Ponzelot fought back, announcing that she was going to do another blindfolded run of the Dragon Alatreon, but this time with more proof. On the 14th of February, she went live, and she was stacked.
Yeah, guys, so on that one, she did a blindfold run with paper on her monitor, and she had like keyboard functions and stuff like that. I don't know.
To the gills with ironclad anti-cheat measurements. This time she wore a genuine blindfold. She had a hand cam, she had input display, she had paper covering up her monitors, and she was live. Surely there was absolutely no way she could cheat. And with all of this in place, she did it again. She beat the Dragon Alatreon in front of hundreds of people. She was so convincing that it seemed like everyone now believed she was legit.
But anyway, yeah, it looks like the Altreon blindfold kill was actually real. It did actually happen.
Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe Queen Ponzelot was just more gifted than everyone else, and she could really do things blindfolded that no one else could. Or maybe, just maybe, she just cheated again, and we don't know how. Honestly, when I first saw her new successful attempt, I didn't know how she did it. But I did know two things. One, her gameplay was impossible to do blind. And two, people always underestimate the autistic power of speedrunners. I was committed to finding out how this was done. I envisioned sophisticated cheating methods that would be impossible to detect. I figured that whatever Queen Ponzelot did must be pretty genius to fool everyone so easily. For 3 days, I meticulously studied her video. I worked with experts to clarify game mechanics. I spoke with programmers to see if we could replicate her run using advanced software, but I was getting nowhere. And then, after 72 hours of running into dead ends, I finally saw it. I noticed that Queen Ponzelot did something that gave everything away. The curtain was lifted, and the magician had exposed her secrets. I had the smoking gun, and within 20 minutes of seeing Queen Ponzelot do this one thing, we knew exactly how she did it, and we had the proof. As it turns out, I was on the wrong track the entire time. I thought the method she used must have been smart because no one detected it. But in the end, it turned out to be the simplest and dumbest method I could have imagined. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how Queen Ponzelot faked her most recent blindfolded takedown of the Dragon Alatreon. And I guarantee that you'll be shocked at just how many things she did to try and fool you. I really hope you enjoy.
I'm actually very curious.
Legend.
Okay, so my theory, before we watch this video, guys, what's your guys' theory how she probably cheated? My theory is possibly that she did, someone else was playing for her. That's my theory. If she actually cheated. Honestly, I don't know if she did, man. I'll be honest, man. I don't know. Her run was so convincing, man. Even he said it's so convincing, so I don't know.
Let's be honest, if you're watching my channel, it's because you are a gigantic nerd. Yes. I'm a huge nerd, you're a huge nerd, that's just the way it is. And as nerds, there is nothing more important or fulfilling than having a really good gaming PC, which is why you should invest in a PC from today's sponsor, Starforge Systems. Starforge makes things super easy, especially for people.
Are you serious, Asmongold? That's Asmongold's company. Are you serious, dude? Bro. All right, all right, all right. I'll let it play because I'm recording because I don't skip sponsors of people talking about sponsors and videos I record. That's the least I could do.
People like me who don't know how or just don't want to build their own PC. They offer amazing pre-built PCs at all different price points, so if you go in with a certain budget, you know you're going to get the best you can for your money. Starforge PCs are used by tons of your favorite creators, including myself. They are built by hand in Austin, Texas by experienced builders, they look beautiful, and they run smoothly. Plus, they are reliable, coming with a full 2
I will say Starforce and other PC companies right now are killing it with the design choices of their PC cases. In my personal opinion, like I would love to collab with one of these PC companies to design a PC case. Have you seen them, guys? They're freaking dope. Like in general, like they're really dope. They're doing fantastic work on designing. Not just Star Wars, by the way. I'm just really talking about Star Wars because like that's what he's talking about. But yeah, there's like these right here, these cases right here. They are freaking phenomenal, man. They did a Daft Ducks right here recently. It's a content creator. Hopefully they do more. I'm actually gonna like once I get my hand back together, like fully back together, guys. I will love to do a collab with any PC company, not just Starforge, but any PC company. Um, yeah, they got the Clouded Gates one. They got the Golden Dragon right here, and they also have a Jellyfish Crossing one, which is like very like bright color one. And yeah, like I said, I will love to do a collab with them or any PC company that does this type of thing. Man, they're freaking dope, man. Yeah, they're freaking dope.
year
in general.
parts and labor warranty. I rely on my PC for absolutely everything, including this YouTube channel. My standards are extremely high. I need something powerful and I need something quiet. And the PC I got from Starforge Systems was literally everything I could have asked for. Please get yourself a PC you deserve. The link to Starforge Systems will be in the description. Go and check out their PCs today. In my previous video, we looked at Queen Ponzelot's earlier blindfolded runs, where she used a really thin, transparent sheet of material to cover her eyes and pretended that she couldn't see. In this case, it was so easy to debunk because everyone can just use their own eyes and see that her blindfold was fake. As far as her gameplay was concerned, it's also really obvious that she can see as well. She claims to use the audio to know exactly where the monster is, but years of blindfolded competition tells us that this is impossible. I also highlighted that beyond knowing where the monster is, it's also impossible to detect whether you are looking up or down. So if you see a blindfolded player using their mouse to look up or down, you know they can see. In her latest attempt, we see all of those impossible gameplay mechanics in action once again, and in some cases, it's even worse. She will access the menu in order to use items and mess up the camera, and then immediately and perfectly fix it. She even does this when the dragon is not making any sounds at all, so there is quite literally no audio cue, like in this example.
Was kind of weird.
Beyond the impossible vertical movement, we also see crazy head tracking in real time that is just laughable. I mean, just look at this gameplay.
Yeah, like she like hit the head a lot, which is very weird. Because honestly, she played like it was a regular gameplay. That's what I was saying when I first watched it. Like I was like, I was a believer, and I'm still kind of am because I need to see this video still. Like obviously we're still barely in the beginning, but the one thing that when I saw this again, right, her second, third one, the one thing of what I've noticed is the gameplay seems like it's just like a regular gameplay. It's nothing special to it. Like a Blindfold run usually is. It's a different kind of gameplay. Hers, it did not seem like nothing new was happening. It seemed like that, you know what I mean?
In the last clip, she is rolling underneath the dragon, keeping the camera on its head perfectly as she does it. It's hilarious. And remember, looking up does nothing. It doesn't let her hit any higher, so there is literally no point in doing this other than to see the head, which makes no sense if you're blindfolded.
Yes.
All of this seems very confusing because she appears to be wearing a proper blindfold. And as I mentioned before, her monitors are even covered up with paper, meaning that she can't see them anyway. This led me to consider other ways she might be playing without seeing. One way would be some kind of aimbot. Aimbots are common in many games, so it's possible if she had some kind of
Oh, I
sophisticated
didn't think about
software, it
aimbots.
could help her aim on the dragon. This would solve the problem of locating the dragon and also solve the vertical aiming issue. However, this wouldn't solve all of the problems, like being able to dodge attacks that don't have sound cues. In one instance, she accidentally hooks onto Alatreon's leg instead of its head, and immediately releases before targeting the head again. But there is no audible difference between hooking onto the leg or the head, so there is no way she should have known. In order to solve issues like this, I theorized that maybe someone was talking to her and giving her instructions through Discord. With someone in her ear and some aim assist software, you might be able to play like this without sight. I reached out to Monster Hunter World expert TSC, who actually developed the first known aimbot of the game. According to him, if she
I didn't know
was
it was
using an
actually
aimbot
aimbot
to
for Monster
achieve
Hunter.
this effect, it would require software far more sophisticated than anyone in the community currently possesses. It seems unlikely that this was the method. The most common theory I saw online was that she was using pre-recorded gameplay. Maybe she beat Alatreon earlier and just played that gameplay footage during her live stream. Something like this has been done before. I even made a video about a speedrunner who cheated by using a pre-recorded run during a live charity marathon. However, I didn't believe this was the case. Queen Ponzelot had 2 cameras.
Wait, a guy did a run.
And they were both completely
on charity? Wow.
in sync. I studied her mouse movements, and they always seemed to match what was going on in the game. And so did her keyboard inputs. Her mouse sensitivity was very high, so a lot of movements are hard to see, but I couldn't see any discrepancies. It did appear as though she was actually playing. In my opinion, this also ruled out the idea that someone else was playing instead of her, perhaps by using remote assistance. This is an idea that the YouTuber Abisoft spent some time investigating to see if it could work. But aside from her mouse movements matching her gameplay, latency issues would also be a huge problem. Some people suggested that she was using a magician's blindfold and she could see through it. But this is extremely unlikely. Her blindfold doesn't look like any fake blindfold I could find, and we know what blindfold she has because it was recommended to her. Blindfolded expert Mitris has the exact same one, and it looks exactly the same. One other thing people noticed, and trust me, we noticed this immediately too, is that after Queen Ponzelot killed Alatreon and lifted the paper up, there was something on her screen. And it seemed like she noticed this and moved the paper back down to try and hide it.
I pause it. What is on the screen?
What?
And what is on the thing?
Wait,
Is Monster Hunter on her screen? And then watch what happens. She puts it back down to cover. She's quickly trying to hide it.
Hide what?
And then the game comes back up on screen.
This is the Windows Start menu, and the reason it appeared is because she hit the Windows key. In fact, she hits the Windows key multiple times throughout her blindfolded attempts.
Wait,
this
what?
bugged the hell out of us, and we had no idea why she was doing it. Could
Wait,
this have
what?
something to do with how she was faking her gameplay? At seemingly random
Wait, but wouldn't it show on the keyboard?
times, she would hit the Windows key,
bottom
which would
left-
tap her out
bottom
of the
left?
game. This caused her inputs to stop working. She would then need to hit the escape key to try and get back into the game. Watch this clip where she hits the Windows key and then spends 10 seconds trying to get the game
Oh, she didn't show the full keyboard inputs. Yeah, she doesn't have all the Windows key is gone. She only using the AWSD because that's like people moving that on keyboard. By the way, guys, if you guys play with keyboards, you guys are weird. I'm just kidding.
to work again. This is bizarre, and she does this multiple times without ever mentioning it. She acts as if this really weird thing that she is doing isn't happening, which is obviously really suspicious. Ultimately, it seems like this is some kind of unrelated tech issue that she was having with her eye tracker. Multiple times before she even started her blindfolded attempts, we can see her hitting the Windows key in order to fix something. She even mentioned it earlier in her stream.
We needed to fix the Toby.
Okay.
I think this tech issue has nothing to do with her blindfolded attempts, but an important question to ask is how did she know there was a problem? She was blindfolded and couldn't see, but knew
Right.
there was some kind of technical issue and always tried to fix it. And she did all of this without looking, and without saying anything to her audience. It's
Yeah.
all really bizarre.
That
In
right
the
there is
end,
weird.
however, after discovering the truth, I realized this was a giant red herring. After several days of brainstorming, I was beginning to run out of ideas. But then, in the middle of the night, I revisited a question I had from day one. There was something that Queen Ponzelot did that was really strange, and I couldn't
Okay.
figure it out. Immediately after she covers her main monitor with paper, while she is attempting to distract her viewers, she holds down her left mouse button for 10 seconds. This was actually one of the very first things I noticed when investigating her run, but I never had an answer as to why.
Does she have a bot that automatically plays whatever she's like? Does she has a bot? No, that's way too advanced, right? Where like a bot presses the keys for her, and she pretends to place the same keys, so it kind of seems like it's doing the same thing, but like the bot is like doing the whole battle for her.
She did it. Normally, when you hold a button down for a few seconds, it activates something. And this was one of the reasons I thought she was using some kind of software. But I had overlooked something that was so obvious and so simple, I can't believe I didn't see it immediately. Once I understood what she was doing, it was game over. Holding her mouse button down for 10 seconds told me everything I needed to know. It unlocked all of her secrets. It revealed to me that there was in fact a third hidden monitor. Queen Ponzelot wants us to believe that she only has 2 monitors. When she covers them up, she makes sure to verbally state that her monitor on the left has all of
Okay, but okay, if there's a third monitor, how could she still see though with her blind?
her other stuff on it.
To the main attraction as we get our duct tape for our main monitor because, yeah. There's the other one. So you guys know. There it is. With all my other stuff on it. Boom.
This is a lie. In truth, she has a third monitor to her right, off camera. Before she covers it with paper, we can see that her main monitor has her OBS streaming software on it. This shows her gameplay, and it also has her Twitch chat docked into it as well. One thing that struck me as odd is how she decided to wait until her monitors were covered with paper before setting everything up. This makes no logical sense, and she even tries to act like this wasn't on purpose.
No problem. Alright, alright, cool. Now, alright. Oh god, I'm sorry, I didn't think this through.
But the reason she did this is because she had to ensure that what she did was hidden from the camera. This is where the beauty of the input display comes in, because we can
What?
still see everything she's doing, but it's obvious she is trying to hide it. What she does next is very sneaky. She lifts up
Okay.
the paper on her main monitor, which has her OBS on it. She clicks on her OBS window and holds down the mouse key. Then, while she is holding down the mouse button, she distracts her audience with verbal diarrhea.
Where is...
Verbal diary. Okay, dude.
That's why we go through what we go through, right? You know? And it's the way that it has to be.
That is weird. I mean, it doesn't take that long to move stuff to your other monitor, right? I have 3 monitors, by the way. I have my drawing tablet as a monitor, and I have one above, and then I have one that I'm working art right now with.
And,
Next is the key that I should have seen immediately. What is the most common thing you do when you hold down your mouse button? You drag windows. While talking, she drags her OBS to her hidden monitor on the right. We can confirm this with the input display. We can see her hand move it to the right, and she even looks at her hidden monitor on the right when she does this.
that's why we go through what we go through, right? You know? And it's the way that it has to be.
That is weird.
She will use her OBS on the hidden monitor to see the game. Immediately after this, she pretends to move the OBS to her left monitor.
Alright, move that over. Okay. sure it's there. Okay. I'm sorry.
She moves her mouse to the left, she looks to the left, and she even says that she's moving something. However, we can see on the input display, she doesn't even click her mouse.
Move that over. Okay.
Now, despite the fact her monitor on the right is supposed to be a secret, she cannot help but stare at it constantly. She even responds to this exact message in chat.
I will want 1,000 to upload your run, including this whole setup. You did just entirely unedit it, but that's probably already been
While
told.
looking at it. However, mid-sentence she realizes how stupid this is and stops talking.
Alright. Oh yeah. Everything will be unedited.
How the fuck did she saw that in chat room and she can't see her monitors?
After panicking and thinking for 10 seconds, she tries to fix this mistake and pretends she read the message from the monitor on the left.
Oh yeah. Everything will be unedited.
Okay, dude. Okay. Oh my god, you realize she messed up. Oh my, what the?
What was the last thing you said? Unedited.
The funny thing about Queen Pongelot reading chat from her hidden monitor is that it's completely unnecessary. There is no need to have chat there in the first place, and it just causes her to constantly look at it, making it obvious it's there. And it also causes her to screw up by responding to it. I'm guessing she just couldn't help herself, and she really wanted to see all of her fans talking about her as she was playing. So we know that she has a monitor to her right, but how does she see it? Well, the secret is in how she's wearing her blindfold. She's wearing it very, very loosely. It's barely able to stay on her face, and on top of that, she wears it very high. This is not how you're supposed to wear a blindfold. Anyone who owns a blindfold like this knows you don't wear them loose, you wear them tight. If you wear them loose, light gets in. By wearing her blindfold loose, she can see through a small gap between her nose and the blindfold. The gamer Juzzy has already replicated her exact setup. In his case, he showed his two monitors which he turned off, he wore a proper blindfold, he used the exact same input display, and he had a hand cam. With all of this, he also killed Alatreon in expert fashion.
Oh yeah, I saw this! Yeah!
Here, he explains how he did it.
As you can see now, my monitors are off and I'm blindfolded, but despite my short-sightedness without glasses, I can clearly see these targets and shoot at them. And why is that? It's because there's a secret here. Right now, I'm wearing the blindfold, right? But I can see out the gaps between my nose and my blindfold, and if I wore it even looser, I'd be able to see out the sides left and right in my peripheral vision.
What the?
Then the next step to the trick is the fact that another thing you guys noticed, there's two monitors here, right? But they're not the only ones. There's a third monitor on my left.
On top of wearing her blindfold very loosely, Queen Pongelot also sits back in her chair and looks up in an unnatural way. This is to get a better viewing angle. Before her attempt with the new blindfold, she had spent around 1 hour playing with her old blindfold over multiple days and weeks. And for that entire time, she always sat like this. She was leaning forward and looking directly in front of her. This is because while her blindfold was partially obscuring her sight, she could see straight through it and was looking at the monitor directly in front of her. With the new blindfold, she can't see through the front of it, which is why she has now completely changed her.
Okay, dude. Oh, even Iron Quest. Bro, yeah, she is playing different now. Because, yeah, the way she's playing is like normal, by the way. Her last stream was 7 days ago. She didn't do a blindfold run. She did it 15 days ago. That's the one that we saw. Man, people will do anything to get a, to get clout, man. Anything, dude. It's insane.
sitting position so she can see down and to the side. This is not a normal way to sit, and world-class blindfold speedrunner Bubsia confirms that when you see someone sitting in this position, it's a giant red flag.
And if I curve up even more, but that's already looking very sus, I guess, if you sit there like your neck breaking. If I sit like this, for example, I can see half of my monitor. I can see OBS right now, literally. I can see the volume meters going up. I can see the picture. If I turn a bit, I can see the other monitor.
And it's as simple as that. There is a hidden monitor on the right, and she is playing through her OBS, which she discreetly moved to it. I can't believe I spent so much time researching aimbots when the solution was so stupidly basic. And while it's so easy just to say there was a hidden monitor, which some people did, it's an entirely different story to provide concrete evidence.
Right.
The fact that we can literally see her move OBS to the hidden screen, the fact that she reads chat from it, the fact that she stares at it constantly, the fact that she wears her blindfold so loosely, and the fact that she sits in such a weird position, all prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this is the way she cheated. But here is my favorite part. After she has
what's the
killed
favorite part?
Elatreon, and while paper is still covering her screen, she looks directly at the hidden monitor and moves the camera around perfectly. It's like she's not even trying to hide it. And beyond all of this, the simple fact remains, the way she played the game is impossible to do if you can't see. Now let's be real for a second. At the end of the day, this entire thing isn't a big deal. This is just silly, fun internet drama, and it's just really interesting to
100%,
learn how
yeah.
Queen Ponsalot faked her blindfold runs.
Right.
Personally, I'm not emotionally charged about this. I just love trying to expose video game fraudsters because I enjoy it.
Right.
This whole back and forth is honestly
No send death threats or hate, anything like that. It's like all just for entertainment purposes. I mean, she's gonna get what she wants. The clout and her name out. At the end of the day, I mean, it's like, is it the worst thing ever you could do? Not really, right? Because she's not like a professional speedrunner. Let's be honest.
really entertaining. But make no mistake, her behavior is not healthy, and it's not a good thing.
True.
There are
Yeah,
gamers
she
who
doubled
spend
down,
thousands of hours legitimately trying to do amazing things without the ability to see. Blindfolded gaming takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of ingenuity. And Queen Ponsalot keeps taking a giant steaming dump on all of their efforts. Because of her actions, people are going to trust the accomplishments of real gamers even less. Skepticism will disproportionately rise, and the public will become even more cynical. But on the flip side, maybe that's a good thing. The amount of people who threw common sense to the wayside and took her runs at face value is pretty shocking. Maybe people do need to be a bit more skeptical, and maybe this lesson was an important one to learn. Let me know what you think in the comments. I worked with a group of gamers who helped me do research for this video, including the YouTuber Abisoft, who is also releasing a video about this most recent run. I know for a fact he is including many details I haven't mentioned myself, so if you want to learn even more, please go and check out his video as well. The link will...
Okay, so yeah, I saw that, so that's why I didn't want to add too much, parts into this, like me talking over too much in this video, because I'm going to watch some parts of the other video right now. Not all of it, but most of it. Or not. We'll see how much I'll watch it. But it's because it's pretty much almost the same thing kind of thing. But you do a little bit extra.
It's like if you want to see a real investigation, claim that you did something in a video game that didn't actually happen, and you're going to get people that put...
So this right here is the other video right here, guys. It's called Abisoft. I'm going to put my reaction to just one. Like I said, I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but yeah.
More work into that than their entire time at college.
Cheating a blindfolded run is one thing,
or
but
also
increasing the proof standard so you can perform the run again, only to double down and cheat a second time, is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. With increased proof standards, you'd think that faking another run would be difficult, but the method used was so obvious, you'll wonder how Queen Ponsalot thought she could pull it off without getting caught. Today I'll show you how the investigation into her second run progressed and what our initial theories were before we arrived at the truth. So let's start with how we got here. Asmongold would watch Queen's first run on stream and was quite impressed with it, as he was currently stuck on Elytron himself. I don't blame Asmongold for being fooled by this, since he doesn't have experience with blindfolded runs, but looking at her Discord, it was planned to get the video in front of him. Wanting the attention of a big
Yeah, we saw this about this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, some squares open. Okay, here we go.
Proof standards. Covers over 2 of her monitors, a hand cam, input display, and a community-approved blindfold would be the measures she implemented to help prove her legitimacy. This time, she was leaving no room for doubt and even double-checked her chat to make sure she wasn't missing anything. In the lead-up to this, a legitimate blindfolded run of Elytrion was performed by Kaye, and the huge difference you'll notice is the strats he used. In addition to using lock-on targeting instead of free cam, he chose to use the dual blades instead of a weapon like the greatsword that relies on headshots. For Queen's second run, I fully expected the strategy she used to be actual blindfolded strats so she could claim that she could actually do a blindfolded run, but that's not what happened. In fact, what happened baffled me. Her first few attempts did not go well, and while watching, I got the feeling we weren't going to see a repeat kill and the story was going to end here. But on her 8th try, she survived through an Eschaton judgment and proceeded to kill the boss. My first impression was that the run had to be legit given the proof standards, but once I had the chance to analyze it, I began to realize that it had a ton of problems. In the last video, we established that vertical camera movement with the mouse is never performed while blindfolded because you have no audio cues or other form of feedback to help you get it recentered. This was a key piece of evidence in her first run that something was amiss, and in this run, we see 2 things. The first is that she's using the Alt button to recenter the camera periodically, as it will have the camera go back to a neutral position. This behavior was entirely absent from the first run, however, and the head tracking was once again present and obvious. It's safe to say that blindfolded runs of Monster Hunter are tough, and if you're thinking about attempting one, maybe you should try this video's sponsor, Unicorn Overlord, instead.
I would not skip
From the studio
this,
that brought you
I'm still
13
recording.
Sentinels Aegis Rim and published by the group behind Persona, Unicorn Overlord is a brand new take on the tactical fantasy RPG. With overworld exploration and an innovative battle system, Unicorn Overlord allows you to explore a vibrant world while amassing an army with over 60 unique characters. This gives you deep options when building your army, as there are various synergies for offense and defense between the different classes. The rapport system allows you to deepen the bonds between characters, letting them give each other stat increases and narrative progression moments as rapport builds. The main way of increasing rapport is by having units battle together, but it can also be gained by bestowing special gifts and holding feasts. If you're like me and love the tactical RPGs of the 90s, you'll enjoy the classic 32-bit battle system with modern 2D aesthetic graphics, complete with over 40 hours of gameplay. Unicorn Overlord releases March 8th, but the demo is live right now, and all of your progress carries over to the full game.
Damn,
so use
that's a
my
good
link
sponsor.
and start building your army right now.
Congratulations.
And with that, let's get back to the investigation. In this clip, we see that not only does she track the dragon's head in the vertical, but she also keeps the head centered on screen as she moves under the boss, which isn't possible as there's no audio feedback for camera adjustments. In another clip, she goes from the front of the dragon to the side and rotates the camera perfectly to keep the head centered in the screen. This isn't behavior that's possible while blindfolded, and if we dive deeper, we see more of the same old tricks. The attack where the boss swipes doesn't have an audio cue until it's already traveling towards you, but this doesn't stop her from dodging before the cue plays. Not only this, but the attack comes from the opposite direction based on where you're standing relative to Elytrion, and the dodge needs to be performed towards it or you'll be hit. But somehow, Queen not only manages to dodge before the audio cue, she also gets the direction right every single time. Even with 3D audio, doing this correctly with a 100% success rate shouldn't be possible, but there's another action she takes that has no audio cues, and that's how she interacts with the ledge. There are small ledges all throughout the arena, and they have a unique interaction when you roll into an attack. If you roll on a flat surface and press attack, it won't cue to start the attack when the roll is completed. This means you need to finish a roll before the game will register an attack input. But ledges break this mechanic. If you roll off a ledge, your roll gets cancelled and you can attack right away, but there aren't any audio cues you're on a ledge, as it's a completely silent piece of geometry. Despite this, she rolls off a ledge and attacks immediately, which doesn't make sense as an experienced player.
I'm telling you, man, like her gameplay looked normal. It didn't look like if you guys seen speedruns, guys, like blind speedruns, it's a completely different kind of play style. I mean, that should be common sense. Like if you looked at her, what she did, what she played, it was completely normal. Nothing was unique about it. Okay, hold up. I want to see like the blindfold part.
Pointed out in my previous video, I knew it was transparent, and in this run, it had been folded additional times so that it would pass the light check. But all this proof call earned me was a timeout. On Carl's video, the mod that timed me out
he got
commented that
timeout.
I'd asked the question 20 times, and for the record, I asked twice and replied to mod comments about the proof call 5 times.
Twice.
A total of 7 chats over 5.5 minutes, but his second comment is worth some scrutiny. Somebody asks if he's saying that the blindfold doesn't unfold, and he triples down by saying that it doesn't. If that's the case, then why not say that on stream instead of saying that the material isn't transparent and refusing the proof call? This even contradicts the mod's own statements in the
People are
stream
still gonna watch
because they
it. It's
said
not
the
like
blindfold
she's
was
like-
folded in the original run,
'Cause-
but it being folded implies it can be unfolded, so which
Or
is
her
it?
mom's
I think
or-
that's all the analysis we need of the first blindfold, since we know it was
Yeah.
transparent and had obviously been tampered with when the check was performed in the second stream, and I think we can all agree that this idea to triple down on it is insane. Given that the run had many
It's
of the
still
same
crazy,
issues
though,
as the
triple-
first
like-
and had new
like-
problems to look into, I
I will say though, I will give her kudos for like she's lying her ass off and she's trying to lie so much until people believe her.
knew that this investigation would require a team as competent as Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, so I called in a friend. Carl and I tackled the investigation together, along with some Monster Hunter and Blindfold Speedrun experts. When we began, we asked
got
ourselves
Chad.
if it could be legit, and decided that given the head tracking and dodging attacks before the sound cues, that it most certainly wasn't. Which left the question, how was it done? A common theory I saw commented was that she was playing over a pre-recorded video. This has been done before, as Lee SDA did this with a Yoshi's Island run, and Mechar did this at GDQ of all places with a Metal Gear Rising run. But this isn't a good method of cheating, and we could rule it out instantly. Since she was using an input display and hand cam, we
GDQ?
could
Oh my
see
God.
that the inputs observed matched what was happening on screen, so playing over a pre-recorded run was easily ruled out. Another theory we thought might be possible was that someone else was playing off screen, but we crossed this out
That's
for the
what I
same
said.
reasons. The observed inputs
Also
matched the
wrong.
gameplay, so an off-screen player wasn't how this was done either. With two easy-to-perform methods of cheating out the window, we started thinking up more complex and esoteric explanations. Carl suggested that she could be using an aimbot or aim assist, and I thought that someone else might be playing through Remote Assistant. The reason we thought this was because of the head tracking and vertical camera movement, which we know is impossible while blindfolded, so we started testing these theories. For aimbot, there wasn't anything we could do at the moment, so Carl got in touch with a modder for Monster Hunter that had created one. The way it works is by hooking into the game's memory. From there, you can tell it what object you want it to look at. In this case,
Bone
it's the different
number.
bones that make up the dragon's rig. It's turned on and off from the press of a button, so you can activate it as needed to quickly line up a shot, then turn it
Oh.
off before anyone
That's how
suspects
that
anything.
works.
But it's quite obvious if you turn it on from a greater distance, as it completely overrides your inputs and makes a beeline for whatever it's targeting. Another reason aimbot was suggested was because at certain times when her mouse was moving in one direction, we noticed that the input tracker would freak out and register inputs across multiple axes, and we had no way of explaining this other than an external force acting on the mouse. Aimbot was a good theory and would explain how she was able to track the head while blindfolded, but while Carl was investigating it, I was looking into Remote Assistant. Remote Assistance is a feature for Windows that allows someone else to control your PC at the same time as you, giving them access to your mouse and keyboard. I thought this was a plausible theory because it would explain the head tracking and glitchy mouse inputs, as I theorized the person using it would only try to move the camera while she was moving it. So what happened when we tested it? It wasn't a perfect test due to an ocean being between me and Juicy, but even with the giant amount of lag, we found that the input tracker perfectly tracked everything I tried to do, but it also had an additional problem. The second I made an adjustment, Juicy lost all ability to play the game competently. It was a constant battle for control that didn't end well, and doing it blindfolded would have made it impossible. Remote Assist and Aimbot are technical explanations, and part of the reason we decided to go down this route was because of the Windows and Escape key presses. Multiple times in the attempt, she lost control of her character and remained stationary despite the tracker registering.
Which the funny thing is, she took those specific buttons out of the keyboard thing.
Inputs, with control
Which is
only
the
being
weirdest thing for
restored
me,
after
personally.
pressing Windows and Escape. We theorized this was due to software she was using to help track the head, either aimbot pulling her out of the game or the person on remote assistance doing something that caused the game to lose focus. But it turns out, this was only a red herring. If you look earlier in the stream, she pressed Windows to fix her eye tracker, and during the run, the eye tracker was also the reason she had to press Windows and Escape. That's right, a random tech issue put us down a rabbit hole and threw us off the trail. We knew for certain that it wasn't remote assistance at this point, which left aimbot as the best theory since it explained the head tracking and glitchy mouse inputs on the tracker. But one thing we learned about the input display by using it ourselves is that it doesn't work well with Monster Hunter, and the glitchy inputs happen when you use it normally with the game. This left us at sea without a rudder, as every theory we had wasn't panning out, but while on a call with some Monster Hunter experts, they kept repeating to me that everything they saw made sense if she could see. Aimbot explained the head tracking, but not the dodges or the ledge attack, and the players kept
Right. Is he gonna talk about the part? Yeah, yeah. So he talks about the blindfold run right here. Yeah.
If she could see out the bottom, this made complete sense, as your field of view would be smaller, so you'd need to do pronounced head movements to see anything you were looking at. Another thing Bubsia mentioned was that it's a giveaway someone can see out the bottom of the blindfold if they are sitting with their head held high. So I compared her posture from the first run to this one, and it's a very pronounced change.
Oh, yeah.
In the last video, her head is
not
angled
the-
down at the monitor the game is playing
Yeah.
on, which we know she can see since the blindfold is transparent. But in this video, her head is angled up very high, a huge
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, it's like up to like right here, right? So you could do that. I mean, I wish I had. Wait, hold on. Maybe I could use my phone. So blindfold be like that. So it was like, oh yeah. Obviously it's different, but like, yeah, when you move it like all the way to like the tip right here of your nose, where that's what it looks like is at, you can clearly see. Yeah, you can clearly see, and you can see like the bottom. And if you move a little bit back like that, I can clearly see the whole monitor. Oh my god.
In posture. It was past midnight when I started connecting the dots, so I went to bed. But while I was asleep, Carl the Absolute Legend would find the evidence we needed, because there was a third monitor, and we can prove it. How do you prove the existence of something you can't see? Thankfully,
Right.
we have two major pieces of evidence that prove without a doubt there's another monitor off screen. In this clip, the screen covers are lowered.
Yeah, we saw this in Carl Jobs' video. Let's see what he says at the
See
end.
it charging up, and even as a master of this hunt, I still get hit by it. Or is it that I'm just acting?
I think we know the answer to that now, but to address the point, it wouldn't make sense to dodge everything in a fake blindfolded run.
True.
Otherwise, people with no knowledge of how they work, like asmongold, might have picked up on it right away. She even addresses the vertical camera movement.
Another main criticism of my blindfolded run is the fact that I adjust my camera to fight the monster without using lock-on. This is just how I fight it. All the time. Every time. Just because I put a blindfold on doesn't mean that changes.
What's funny about this is
What?
she offers no explanation as to how she knows exactly how much to adjust the camera in the vertical, so I
Yeah,
guess
that
we'll just
doesn't
have
make
to settle
sense.
for the trust me bro. It's hard to believe that this was all started from someone trying to get a streamer's attention, and asmongold, if you're watching, I did put more effort into this video than I did at college. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next exciting episode.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't watch the full thing, guys, because it's pretty much almost the same thing with Carl Jobs, but I did want to watch the little part of it. I will put it in the link description below. But yeah, I mean, he breaks it down like what she said earlier and all that. But sadly, it works because she got a lot of clout from this. Now, are people gonna watch her because of this? Who knows at this point? Are people gonna send like hate messages to her? Yes, obviously. Well, please don't do it. At the end of the day, like Carl Jobs said, it's not that serious. It's just like fun, entertainment content, and that's literally, I think that was literally the point, right? Now, do you want to be known as that streamer? That's another question too. But yeah, Queen Pawns a lot. I don't know. I believe what the you saw and Carl Jobs have posted in their respective videos. But like I said, I didn't want to watch the full thing, guys, because or else this video will be extremely long, or I didn't want to go over it too much. But yeah. So it is very interesting seeing both perspectives and explanations and like evidence and stuff. A lot of it was a little bit like weird because, like I said, when I watched her gameplays, my biggest thing was like she looked like she's just playing regularly. That's it. That's literally it, you know. And and then showcasing that one video with the Overwatch and like how he was doing it. That's very interesting. I wonder if she's gonna like force quadruple down, where she's gonna take out her monitor out, and she's going to figure out how to put the blindfold all the way down, and figure out some way to do it. I wonder if she's gonna do that. Anyways, good videos for both. It's pretty funny, man, how things turn out, and hopefully everything works out. But it is what it is, man. Gotta make content somehow, right? But yeah, good videos on both.